Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Let's Get Some Perspective, presented by the Black Psychologist Network, where we discuss all things mental health and trending topics going on in the world. I am one half of your humble and gracious host, Dr. Kyle Osborne. He is I, and I am him. And of course, you all know I'm never flying this aircraft on my own. I'm here with the one, the only, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Dr. Jason Coleman, what's going on, good brother?
Was good, man. Happy New Year. I don't know if we maybe we talked before that, but anyway. What's going on, man? I'm chilling, long week, bro. It's cold out here, in
Mm-hmm.
Jersey. What's going on
Yeah,
up there in Philly?
yeah, man, it's brisk in Philly and in South Jersey. We had some snow like yesterday. It's supposed to snow again. Think this weekend. And look, man, I'm happy to get through another week and
I
watch
think y'all
watch
gonna
some
get it
uh
worse than us
playoff
though.
football. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And watch some NFL football, bro. Some self care. That's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. Patrick Mahomes playing this weekend, so we're gonna see that. Lamar Jackson,
Hmm.
Josh Allen, so that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I don't
Yeah,
know
you
who's
know,
playing
Philly.
tomorrow though. I don't know who's playing tomorrow.
Um,
I think Kansas City
Houston and
plays
Houston.
tomorrow.
Yeah, Houston and Kansas City and Detroit and Washington. I was getting ready to
Oh,
call them the
okay.
Redskins, man. I'm so used to calling them that.
Yeah, you know that
Yeah.
though.
I mean, listen, Washington got a team, bro.
Yeah,
Washington got a
listen,
team. Jalen Edwards, he's tough. Their quarterback is tough.
Washington is for real, bro.
Yeah, man. You might have to watch him. That NFC East is getting competitive over there, brother.
Yo, I mean, listen, like I'm not trying to be funny. We last, man. Like,
No, no,
we
no,
ahead of the
no. The
Giants.
the Giants. I'm about to say, like, nah, bro. Don't
Yeah, we ahead of
don't
the Giants,
don't
but
down on yourself like that. Like, nah, the
yeah,
Giants
we
are
ahead of the
definitely
Giants.
last. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I'm just fixing my
Yeah.
name, my bad. But
But
we
yeah,
ahead,
man. That's
we'll always be ahead of them. But my big thing is the Eagles anyway, bro. Like that's what I tell people. The problem is, and I've heard like a lot of Eagles fans say this and Giants fans, like they don't really have real hate for the Redskins. You know what I mean? Because they've
no,
been
it's all
losing for
Dallas.
so long.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, in Philly,
But
it's all oriented towards the Cowboys. That's it.
right.
Always, always.
But wait till next year. Everybody will have enough of the Redskins, especially if they go on a little run.
Man. And look, I'm gonna throw y'all. I'm gonna shoot y'all a little bill. They're gonna have a new coach coming in, whoever that's gonna be. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
we'll see
know?
who that is.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
don't, I
We'll
don't
see who
know.
that
I
is.
mean, I want Dion in the NFL, but I don't know if I want him on as our coach.
Y'all
It's
might get
already
Tomlin. Tomlin just got
that's
let go.
who that's who that's who we need. They fired him?
Or
No,
let
they
go. Well, you know the terminology of how that works. You know that.
no, they didn't. For real, I didn't even
Yeah,
know that.
yeah. I was surprised too. Just happened recently, brother.
Oh, I gotta look that up. All right. Let me not
Yeah,
get
yeah,
sidetracked. We'll talk about that.
yeah.
Damn,
Yeah,
how do
man.
I
That'd be a
change
good
the orientation?
that'd be a good look for y'all. But yeah, so let's get started real quick. Definitely first and foremost, thank everybody for tuning in and watching. In the comments and subscribing. We definitely appreciate the feedback. So continue to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about our channel and our viewing, and we're gonna continue to pump out that good edutainment. All right. First and foremost, we absolutely have to begin and send out our heartfelt, our thoughts, our prayers to what's going on with the LA fires and what's been going on and transpiring for the past week and a half. So, for those that aren't aware, the Palisades fire and the Eaton fires in LA County broke out a little bit over about a week ago, and along they've had like little several smaller blazes that have just accumulated to just a lot of damage, and that they have burned in a combined 38,000 acres in Los Angeles County, and the fires are still burning. And however, I think it's last I read it was 31% has been contained Um, and the Palisades and the Eaton fires are at 65% contained at 14,000 acres.
Mm.
Yet and still,
Making some progress.
making some progress, absolutely. However, you still have more than 170,000 people that have still been on evacuated or are still on evacuation notices. The firefighters are still fighting. They're hoping that they can make some more progress this weekend. However, they're concerned about just that wind, like that 80-mile-per-hour wind, just
Yeah.
nature starts naturing, does its thing. And so the winds kind of fuel the fires and push it further out. So, um, it's you're dealing with a lot out there. And that's one thing that we wanted to touch base about, because for those that are directly affected by the fire, or people, or typically what comes up is the financial impact, right? We think about financially of you losing your home and things of that nature, and then people talk about the physical health aspect, where you're talking about like the smoke and the ventilation and all the other different things that could be bad for you physically, and understandably so. Also, you have to think about the psychological toll, and that's the next crisis that people, I don't think it's talked about as much as the first two items that I mentioned. But you have to think about it when you really, really take a step back. I mean, the psychological toll that these victims are going to go way beyond a couple months, a year. I mean, this is going to unfortunately impact them for a long period of time for just a lot of different reasons. Like, so if we're talking about like the trauma, of course, like the trauma symptoms may emerge like within days of the event, all right, within
Hmm.
months of what's taking place, where you're seeing your home go up in flames, right? You're watching it possibly on TV, or you're seeing just the damage that's continuing to come through. The fear and shock of how sudden it was. Like, I don't know for you, Jason. I just remember hearing about the news, and all of a sudden it was just out of control from like the very beginning.
Right.
And so you have the trauma aspect, you have the grief that individuals are experiencing, and not just for maybe people that lost their lives, because I think it's like at 27 casualties so far. But at the same time, you have just you losing your home, right? You have losing your possessions, losing all the things that you've worked hard for. I mean, um, you have that grief of just kind of facing that devastation and being overwhelmed. And there's so many just different areas that your mental health is going to be impacted. Just the mental exhaustion of being displaced, right? Like talking about those that are, you're going from your home, and even if you're going to a relative's house, that's still not your house. So whether you're
Right.
going to a shelter, you're going to a relative's house, you're going to a friend's house, it's a lot of different things that can just totally overwhelm any particular individual about this whole process. And I thought it was really important that we highlighted that and just kind of pointed out some things of whether you're vicariously looking at it like from afar, from a different state, or you're going through it. It's just so many different areas and things. Correct.
I mean, it's listen, it's one of these things where obviously like we're looking at when you like if you just heard about this 5 minutes ago, one thing you know is like people are losing their homes, right? Um,
Hmm.
and the thing is obviously that it's not complicated because we know nobody's happy about that, but it's very complicated in the sense of when you talk about how people are impacted by this tragedy, right? Because what people's home is going to represent different things to different people, right? So some people is going to just symbolize safety. Some people is going to be like, yo, where they raise their kids, right? Some people is going to be like their first major purchase, maybe with their wife or husband or whoever, and that's gone, right? But for majority of people, it's kind of like what's inside the home, right? Like their belongings and the memories that are gone, right? When you see all of these people on the news, like again, what the insurance companies are doing and all of that other stuff, that's a different story. But what you hear the people kind of talking and worried about are the things, right? You got that's the only reason why people will know their house is burnt down and still drive all the way over there. because they're
Mm-hmm.
hoping to find a picture or something that was kind of left intact, right? So that's the psychological kind of pull right there, you know. And also we look at like neighborhoods kind of people being fractured, right? Remember what happened with New Orleans when all those people were bust different places, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you destroyed, you have like the infrastructure destroyed in the houses and all of that, and you want to get everybody safe, but you also have the community kind of destroyed, you know? You don't know
Yeah.
your neighbors no more, all of those people are gone. So it's a big thing because not only have you lost everything that you own, but you're displaced, you know?
Mm. You mentioned a big part of just the fraction aspect, because there's isolation that comes with that. Uh, in the sense of, like you mentioned, you're being displaced. You might be going to different areas, depending on your situation. But even those that, um, even if your house wasn't, say, structurally damaged by the fires, you still have the smoke in there. So I don't know if people really understand of how it works when you're in a situation similar to that. I don't know if you remember, like November of last year, they had wildfires in South Jersey. It was in
Okay.
Glassboro. And so it happened like like a Friday morning or something. And so, I'm not too far off. Like I'm like maybe about 15 miles from like where I work at the hospital. It's about 15 miles from where the wildfires were taking place. So when I mean, Jay, like when you got into that area, like the smoke is heavy. Well, I mean, like you're looking through a crowd. Like I don't think it's anywhere near to the extent of what they're experiencing in LA. But no, I know when I got to campus, I mean, when I you could smell, like it was like driving through fog. That's how
Mm.
like heavy it was. And I was maybe about 15, 20 miles away from where the fires were taking place. But it isolates you because there were so many different things where they were saying you got to stay in the building, you got to have your mask on. They were like, you are kind of a situation where even if you haven't been impacted by the physical aspect, like your house is still there, you still have to stay in the house. You got to wear a mask. All these other different things because there are these precautions that they're putting in place for safety. So you have a lot of different elements, some of what you just talked about, and then just kind of you have to stay in your home or you have to be in all these different areas where you're isolated from the rest of the community. Like I think there are some people where they can't even get back to the house. I think you saw like some people that were able to go back to the house and see if anything like any of their possessions were left. But there are still some communities where they're like, yeah, even though the fire's out, you can't go back just
Right.
because of the smoke, just other different things. And there's so many different elements of how this can impact, your mental health. And it's tough, man. It really is devastating and overwhelming, and for so many different areas. You know,
Well, you just want to, encourage people to, cope with it the right way. So you want to, if it's stressing you out, you want to limit, kind of how much time you spend focused on it, find some way to advocate or help if you can, to get involved indirectly or directly if you can, and, just make sure that you process your feelings in the right way about it.
I did. I definitely appreciate the outpouring of support that you're seeing. A lot of different organizations and then just individuals. I know there have been like multiple GoFundMe's. There have been a lot of different organizations that have been donating. You have a lot of different, um, even like services from different countries that are coming over
Right.
and helping out. The firefighters, you had individuals that are incarcerated. They're helping, and so I absolutely love that. But of course, yeah, social media being social media and the internet being the internet, you're gonna have some individuals that are gonna demonstrate a complete lack of empathy or sympathy for the reason that they look at it from perspective because they see LA County, and of course the celebrities who are being impacted, their voices tend to be a little bit louder because they have the platform, and they're just like, you get like these responses or these comments that you see, and they're like, oh well, oh, they're stars. They can get another one. They can get another house, and so on and so forth. And you see, like, you hear a lot of these different, unfortunately, tone deaf responses and comments. And it's just really unfortunate because that sometimes becomes a little louder than the communities that are coming together, that the people that are coming to support. But it never fails where you're going to have a certain population or a certain group of folks that are going to come out and just have like these uninformed and tone deaf responses.
I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing about that. That's a given. People always assume that when people are like financially well off, that nothing else impacts them. So
Yeah,
can't
so
really win that argument.
nah, you can't. But absolutely, again, continue to keep those individuals in their thoughts and prayers. For those of us that are away, and I will absolutely just recommend that you monitor your exposure to the news. You want to keep up to date, but just like with anything that we've talked about in the past, just immersing yourself in too much and just watching on CNN 24-hour coverage of the fires, it is absolutely also hazardous, to your health. So you want to make sure you're doing it in small and healthy doses. You're not just solely focused on the information. If you're going to help, make sure again you're also taking care of yourself in this because it can impact you even vicariously of just kind of watching a lot of the devastation in people that are experiencing this firsthand can also be harmful. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself at the same time, whatever efforts that you're going to be exercising, to help people. You know,
I agree. That's good
um,
advice, brother.
we talked a little bit about sports at the beginning of the episode. So it's only right that we have to bring this to light. New lawsuit against Fox Sports. So last week, in the middle of last week, there was a lawsuit that was launched against Fox Sports and against commentator Skip Bayless and executive Charlie Dixon that sent shockwaves all through the broadcasting industry. So a former hairstylist filed a lawsuit against Bayless stating or alleging that he made unwanted sexual advances towards her, including offering her 1.5 million to sleep with him. She also indicated that executive Charlie Dixon, the executive vice president of content at Fox Sports, groped her at a party and sexually pursued other women employees. Now, other defendants that were listed in the suit were Fox Sports One host Joy Taylor, and they allegedly dismiss or they allegedly say that when the incidents took place with the hairstylist went and confided in Joy Taylor about getting groped and about some of the other different harassment issues, and she said that Joy Taylor just kind of pushed her to the side, minimized her, even mocked her at times, and she claimed that Taylor herself engaged in sexual relationships with Dixon and other male co-hosts to get a position or to better her position at the spot at the sports network. So this has kind of taken on a life of its own, just with uh, you know, with the allegations and they've just been pointing out just other different things about Joy Taylor's clothing and how revealing and all these other different things and about her male co-host, and this has become a mess, man.
It
It's
is a
become quite a
mess.
mess. This is the best. This is the best. Jay, when all this kind of started coming to light and more information was coming out, what was your take on it?
Uh, Listen, man, I'm not trying to even be like that, but with a lot of these, you know, lawsuits similar to this, like I like to kind of wait and wait until information comes out, right? Obviously, it sounds like horrible. Sounds like a horrible place to work. Um, and if these accusations are true, like yo, it's going to be a lot of people that are going to feel it, rightfully so. But this was just wild, to be honest with you, because you know what the funny thing about this was too? Like I just had to take out my phone and look up who Charlie Dixon was because I never seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they they've been talking about this lawsuit and talking about everything involved, but they never posted a picture of him. Not I haven't seen it anywhere. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So I was trying to figure out who he was. So I don't know because to be honest with you, I thought when I first read about this lawsuit and heard about it weeks ago, I thought Joy Taylor was the one filing the lawsuit because that's what everybody was talking about. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
all anybody was talking about. But it's
Hmm.
not even her, it's the hairstylist who's a totally different other person, you
Right.
know? So this is just crazy because again, I will just wait for more information to come out because again, I'm not saying anybody's making anything up or anything like that, but it just from the beginning is like I think the focus of the story has been like I thought it was Joy Taylor filing the charges. I knew Skip Bayless had a big part in it, but it seems like this dude Charlie Dixon or whatever had an even bigger
Hmm.
role than Skip Bayless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not
Hmm.
even talking about who did something wrong or right, but I'm just saying in terms of like, but it seems like when they're reporting on it, they're like folks super focusing on just I guess the most famous people, which maybe that's to be expected, but the whole situation just feels weird to me. I mean, Shannon didn't comment on it at all. You know, it's just a lot going on, you know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really has commented on. I think they put out like a general announcement, like Fox Sports.
Hmm.
But I do feel bad, and I agree. We should absolutely wait for more information to kind of come out. Maybe let the legal process play its part. But I did feel bad for Joy Taylor for the reason that originally it looked like she was the one launching the lawsuit, and she wasn't.
You got that
She was.
impression too?
I did, and I think
Yeah.
it's because again she's the face of Fox Sports. Her and Emmanuel, I always mispronounce his last name, but
Acho,
because
Acho.
Acho,
Mhm.
yeah, but because they are the sportscasters and they're the face of the network, anything with their name, automatically they're getting, the face is going to be planted on the front page. And I felt bad because she was the one who was named. She's named in the suit. It's not like she's launching the suit.
Right, right.
Now I don't know whether her part is again with the hairstylist is alleging that she went to her and confided, and they're saying that she kind of was unsupportive and has done other different things. But it just feels, it's unfortunate that she's being named in a suit, and it doesn't seem like, and they're coming at her wardrobe. There's like it's a lot of body shaming. It's so many other different
Right.
things. And I mean, I imagine her legal representative in the company have told her not to say anything. And they've just been kind of business as usual if you look at it. Now, I have noticed um, her outfits have changed. They've become more conservative. I will say that because she typically has like I think she's from like the Miami area, and I think that's could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that that's Zach Miller's sister or relative. You remember the dude from the
For
Miami
real?
Dolphins? Yeah. Um, so like she's from Miami and like she dresses like, how like that kind of Miami flair. But after this has come out and the internet and all these different types of accusations, like she's completely changed her wardrobe, man. I think like even just the kind of chemistry in the manner of how her and Emmanuel kind of converse with each other during like even that's changed. So like the chemistry and it's because the microscope is on them.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I hope none of this activity is taking place. You would also think that, especially with the Me Too movement kind of coming into place, a few years ago, that some of this behavior would have been, this would have been a deterrent, kind of seeing how a lot of those situations turned out. But we do know, unfortunately, in a lot of different corporations and companies, you still have this systemic, um, oppression and foul treatment of women overall, unfortunately. So, but yeah, it's like just a lot of these things just feel like a life of their own. Like 1.5 million to have sex, like we're being like things. I'm like, what is going on here? So
Yeah, that's wild.
yeah, it's unfortunate. So it is something we'll continue to monitor. But I've definitely when I've tuned in, and I'm not gonna lie and say I'm a big Fox Sports fan. I'm more of an ESPN person, but I have noticed at least the episodes that I have seen, I've seen a shift in kind of like the wardrobe. I've seen a shift even in kind of like the chemistry, just the conversations. Like, yeah, man, it's I don't know. Definitely
I
the
don't
wrong
know.
type of publicity.
I haven't really seen a show since. Like I see it sometimes on in the gym, but I watch ESPN, so I don't really
Right.
know.
So I mean, the ratings have gone up on the numbers. I'll give them that. I mean, people have definitely tuned in to see what's going on.
Oh, since then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, because they haven't, other than the general statement, they haven't mentioned anything. Like nobody, Joey hasn't talked about it. Emmanuel, like nobody's come out. Skip, nobody's come out and kind of done the the Cameron. Let me just get on my platform and start going off on folks and kind of give them my input. Like they've kind of kept it, just like, hey, they'll handle it the way they'll
Well,
handle it. So
I
you know.
mean, with allegations like this, I usually see it like that, you know?
Here's the thing though with this, and I don't know if maybe people have ever paid attention. However, typically the people that hear and see everything um are typically like the hairstylists, the bodyguards, the
Right.
drivers. Like those are the individuals that have so much access to like whoever is in front, right? Like whoever the correspondents are, whoever the CEOs, whatever the case may be. So I don't know. It's always kind of, I've always been baffled about like putting these individuals like in compromising situations or like, you know, because they have all the information, right? Like you shouldn't harass or treat anybody like this. But these are the last individuals because they've seen and heard everything. Like her suit is pretty long, bro. Like she
Yeah.
mentions a lot of different people in the suit. Of course, Joy became head to getting to the forefront because of who she is. But like she like names a lot of people and a lot of things in her
Yeah.
lawsuit, this hairstylist. So
They know where the bodies is buried, man.
they know where the bodies are buried, bro. All of them. They hear everything. That's where most of the times, like when people are like the sources, they're the hairstylists, they're the drivers, the bodyguards. Like Diddy, all of Diddy's bodyguards and folks are speaking out in his documentary and all different things. Like they seen everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, they talking now.
Yeah, like they come on. I don't know. I don't know, man. You would think that folks that that what's the mantra? Those that fail to pay attention to history are doomed to repeat it. I would
Yeah.
have thought, I don't know. I would have thought they would have learned from the Me Too movement, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? All
Man,
right.
what would make you think that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hubris.
What would make you think that people would? I mean, because what years was that supposed to have like
like
started in?
Me Too was like 2017, 2018. They was getting them.
Right, and that whole situation with
Everybody. Everybody. They
Diddy
had a lot of
just
people was
happened
nervous.
months ago.
And Diddy just set it back up. Yeah, man.
So I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you know. Hopefully
That power,
people are
boy.
still hopefully people are still learning from it.
Yeah, sheesh. That power and money, brother. All right. Speaking of money, Jay, before we got on, we were talking about work schedules. So it appears that there has been a rise of the 4day work week, and employers are now more enthusiastic about um, offering the shortened schedule. So it says that 4-day work weeks are growing in popularity, spurred by recent rise in the flexible working studies. So it says that recent studies have found that switching to a 4-day work week improves worker well-being, job satisfaction, and can reduce certain costs for organizations. That's what the research is saying. Now, I also noticed this even with COVID. So you know how a lot of companies went to remote or virtual work. And what I've noticed is that even with the gradual kind of return back into the office, a lot of companies and organizations haven't they're not mandating that their employees come in for 5 days. They're
Right.
doing either 5 or like 4 days and a satellite day or a hybrid day, or they're just going straight to 4-day work weeks because now they can also, in addition to, of course, employee wellness and things of that nature, but they're also able to save on overhead costs, right? Other different things as far as, utility bills and space and things of that nature. So, but yeah, absolutely. As far as the employee end, yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of growing research that it helps out with job satisfaction. Um, people enjoy that kind of flexibility, that additional day to have to themselves or maintain whatever different personal responsibilities and just not be at work. I mean, I think a lot of times, remember, we only typically saw a 4-day work week in healthcare with like nursing.
Right.
Typically, right now, you see a lot more. It's starting to gradually go into other different fields and different areas of the workforce. So,
Well,
you know,
COVID kind of taught us a lot, right? COVID's
hmm
taught us even things that we thought we couldn't do, you know, over the phone, over the computer. We could if we had to, So after that, people gonna rebel after that.
yeah,
There's a lot of reasons why supervisors, owners want people back in the office. A lot of them signed long leases a long time ago,
hmm
and they want to be able to look down the hallway and see you at your desk or cubicle or whatever. But again, COVID taught people otherwise, so they're going to push back against that. So you're going to have people fighting this out over the next couple of years, because again, like because people's attitudes have changed, everybody experienced that. So when you got new people coming up who are starting businesses, they're going to be considering those type of ideas,
hmm
because it might make them more competitive, So these ideas aren't, they're not going anywhere.
No, you're right. I mean, if you have a company that's offering 5 days of work week, and then you have another company that's offering 4 days, most people are going to go with the 4 day work week. Like more people are going to be willing to work the extra hour, hour and a half, whatever the math is, and elongate one day so they can have another full day off.
Yeah,
Like I know a lot of people who got into nursing just particularly because of the flexibility with that schedule.
right,
And that's what I think a big part, even the research states that a key component in employee satisfaction is not so much money. I mean, money helps, but you can still have individuals that can be making an incredible amount of money, but if their work schedule is not conducive to like their life, then they're still gonna be miserable, right? Like the satisfaction is not gonna be there. But if they have flexibility, the flexibility component does play a prominent role in employee satisfaction. So
exactly.
now there are downsides to this, right? So even though people and managers, I think this has kind of been the pushback for the research, or on the from what the research tells us, even though it helps with employee satisfaction, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to mitigate or reduce absenteeism, right?
Right.
You're still gonna have people calling out, like because you know what's better than a 4 day work week?
3 day work week.
3 day work week. So despite what despite the research and despite the employee satisfaction, you're still gonna have people that are gonna call out. At the same literally it was still at like very similar rates from people that even that went from like a 5 day to a 4 day, they still the research data like, yeah, no, the absenteeism was still about the same.
That's that's
So
uh that's interesting, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't, even if you're gonna give people a 4 day work week, do it out of the kindness of your heart, because you're not gonna get it back in terms of time,
right, right.
and they're
Like
not
they're
gonna
just
consider what you did as like a favor to them.
not at all. They might be happier while they're at the job. All right. They did say less work
Yeah,
incidents come down. And so they might be happier while they're doing it. They said productivity also increased. Productivity while they're at the job. But as far as them being there, like nah, they still listen, as opposed to them calling out on that Monday after the weekend, since they got Monday off, they still gonna call out on that Tuesday.
yeah, I agree, man.
You
That's
know?
gonna be an interesting one to follow, though, man.
hmm So I
It's gonna
think
be,
I think that's what the pushback why some companies haven't gone forward with the 5 day. I mean, with the 4 day, because if they're looking at absenteeism, they're just like, well, if that's the same, then what's the point?
And then I also think it depends on like what industry you're in, because there are certainly certain jobs that there's no reason why it shouldn't be a 4 day. If you gave people the option, meaning if you told them if they finish their work in 4 days, then they could be off the fifth day, then you would see how productive they could really be, you know.
Hmm.
And stuff like that might save everybody money in the long run, but for the company, but
I'm
you got to
also
be honest about the jobs, that you be talking about, and the actual duties and how long it actually takes if you really want to do that. You got to have an honest conversation about that.
Yeah, because I'm also taking into consideration not every job is created equal. So even if you're like 4 day work weeks, I don't know maybe if that works in every industry, right? Like I'm not hating on anybody. Everybody should have 4 day work weeks, all right? I don't want y'all to be like Dr. Kyle says not every
No,
company or
but
every
I'm
industry should have
I'm
it,
thinking
but I'm
like
wondering, you know what I mean? If
I'm thinking like
all of them should.
I'm thinking like if you're doing something like data entry and you get
Hmm.
paid depending on or you get paid depending on the amount of units you produce or something like that. Like
Right.
yeah, it might
Yeah.
motivate you.
No, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what, in some terms, probably I imagine productivity went up because if they're like, hey, if you have an additional whatever, and you don't have to work that fifth day, then yeah, guess what? I'm definitely I'm gonna kick it in high gear, get this done. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
We'll
I
see
would
how that
definitely,
turns out.
yeah,
I think the workers are gonna win though.
yeah, yeah. Listen, if it's beneficial, and I know, if it's cost effective and beneficial to the organization, then they'll be like, yeah, sure. But if any form or fashion is like, yeah, it's not making dollars and cents, like, nah, no, we're gonna have y'all in here in this brick and mortar 5 days a week.
Yeah, they want to do that anyway, man. I have a feeling, but
Hmm.
we
So,
will
but
see.
we'll see. Anything else before we get out of here?
Nah, man, just hopefully we get a good weekend of playoff football. Um, want to thank everybody just for hanging with us, and I hope everybody get off to a good start 2025. That's it.
Absolutely. Everybody enjoy their MLK Day coming up. Whether you're doing a day of service, just remember what the holiday is actually about. And yeah, stay warm, stay safe, and I wish everybody good mental health. All right, Jay.
All right, bro. Later.
Later.